And I know about Mitsuoka for years, but Mitsuoka has now released a new concept car. And what Mitsuoka is basically there are a uh what Mitsuoka does, to say the least, is that they take production cars and do builds on them. They build them as custom coach cars. Make sure we got proper before I get going on this. Auto 40p. Yeah, I think we're gonna be on auto mode here. So what they do is build basically custom coach cars, body kits for vehicles, but really extensive on the interior and exterior. And Mitsuoka built a body kit for the current generation Honda Civic called the M55, and you're gonna love what it looks like. Oh.
So I'm on my way to Mitsuoka.
So we're in Japan right now. This guy's not sure if he's fluent or just a tourist, but he's going off to Mitsuoka. Hello, Observer Eyes, how are you? But what happened is he went in and he decided to go to this dealership that Mitsuoka has where you can buy custom built cars, made by the company. They do basically serial runs, small runs of cars, but if you wanted a basically car that looks nice in this modern day and age, you go to them.
Dealership.
And they skirt around safety laws because they only produce in a certain production range. It depends on each country's bylaws, but typically there's only a certain amount of cars they can produce of one model before it has to be subjected to the current crash safety standards.
I pass it all the time, and I'm always like, damn, I want to go inside. I want to go inside. They have some really cool stuff like you could see while you're driving down the road. But I feel like, I don't know, not knowing Japanese, being a foreigner, sometimes foreigners give us a bad rap, or they think maybe I'm going to touch the cars or do something reckless.
As of very recently, I'm very glad Japan's kicking out all the foreigners and has been trying, and with the foreign invaders, but mainly also taking care of the obnoxious tourists. Now, this guy, not saying he is, he seems very respectful, but it's also a thing is, vloggers cause a lot of problems. And I feel like there's a good reason why you get a lot of bad rap around you because you cause a lot of problems, especially trying to show off this country to very obnoxious people who have too much money or have too much social benefits to have the money to go to these countries. Meanwhile, the actually good people from the countries that want to visit, like myself, don't get to visit because money's tough.
So if you're watching this right now, we stayed optimistic, and they said I can indeed record. If you're not watching this, then there's no reason for me to even continue. This is why you always gotta have a positive mindset. So we're currently inside. I already found some things I'm gonna buy.
This is probably one of the best looking car dealerships I've seen. Granted, it is a boutique dealership, but it is generally one of the nicest looking ones I've seen in a while. I've worked in a couple dealerships. You don't normally see this type of actual just ambiance and decorum in most dealerships where they try to slap you in the face with the most expensive model that you really just don't want. Of course, once again, it's a boutique made by actual car lover, like just car enthusiasts all around. So it's a different breed of people.
Post this on Patreon and see if any of the homies want something so I can grab it by the time I leave Japan, because I'm gonna post this most likely right before I leave. But look at this stuff. Oh my god, I have to get a View tote bag. This I think is maybe like a tablecloth or something. That's really cool. They got some watches. This fan. I gotta get Slade or something too. He's a Mitsuoka fiend. But I really like this one.
Yeah, no, like around the world, they are pretty well renowned. I mean, you can see their cars basically come over to the West. And what they do is, once again, they take production cars, whether it be K cars or standard production cars, we even see in our end of the world. And they do body kits for them to make them look retro styled or just have a different much nicer aesthetic to them. And it's not typically exaggerated or crazy like a lot of other companies have done. It's actually very subdued. Very enjoyable to look at.
For $935. That one's interesting. And then look at that. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna make this is a perfect example of why you should be on Patreon right now, because you'll be able to get one of these things. So yeah, he said I could walk around, I could check some things out. This is a Very interesting car because it looks like it could be a Charger.
No. See, I know he's American. I know he's going by the American standard of what we typically see would be, oh, bro, it's the Charger. It's like a 1970s muscle car. Granted, the Europeans caught onto the muscle scene a little bit later on, but when they did it, and of course, with Europe, they have a lot more stringent standards in terms of emissions and engine size, which is very archaic because the size of an engine doesn't pertain always into its emission standard because without advance we've gotten with timing and actually just fueling and even the ability to cut off cylinders and engines nowadays, it it's a very archaic law that a lot of nations have. But what this reminds me of is the Opel Manta, which is a classic standard of a European muscle car. If you've seen them, they are quite a beautiful car, and Opel tried to hype up their EV lineup by making a mock-up retrofuturistic version of the Manta. And honestly, unfortunately, all the safety standards, we can't have this, and of course, emission standards on top of that for even combustion cars, where they want to have basically companies get larger and larger, more bloated vehicles because the larger you make a vehicle, the less stringent the emission standard is on the car. So we have all these blobs running around, but the Manta is truly a beautiful car. And this is what it seems to be mostly based off of. Because remember, I know, actually, well, not really what it's based off of, because I know because this is also a Japanese company. And it appears to me that they're also going up by what Japanese muscle used to be, where it used to be the Mitsubishi FTO, the classic original Daruma Celica by Toyota, and I believe the RX-3, which was the first rotary, it wasn't the first rotary sports car, but it was one of the actual first successful rotary sports cars that Mazda made, because after the Cosmo, and the original RX rotary sports car they did, the Roadster, back in the 60s, the RX-3 actually took off really, like, properly took off. Sure, it was naturally aspirated, but it was a lightweight chassis, small car. It was a feisty little fucker. Basically led the way to the RX-7, but the RX-3, you can see homages definitely to the Dorma Celica and RX-3 with this taillight design. But this is a Honda. The reason we call it the M55 because the M55 chassis is the Honda Civic current chassis code for the modern day current gen Honda Civic. And the current gen Civic, I have qualms with because Honda cut out the coupe model. The hatchback is more of like a liftback hatchback that looks like a bloated sedan. It doesn't exactly look like a hatchback proper. And I have not seen a Civic that's looked like a proper hatchback since the death of the three-door back in the 8th, 9th gen, I want to say. Personally, I would prefer Hondas to keep making three-door hatchbacks ever since once you lay eyes on an EG hatch, you just want it. You just want it. Just want. But with the death of the coupe, this car feels more like the original Skylines. The original Skylines from the 70s, where they had sedan models. And this definitely does fit the bill of it. You're gonna see it, but it would look like a coupe from the rear, but it's really a sedan model.
It says MSS.
Not SS55. But this interior is very much the fabric and material definitely seems to be of modern polyester and organic materials. They styled it after 70s bucket seats, which I find quite enjoyable. There's some things you can't get rid of from the skeleton of it. The dials and the gear switch down below. It's something you just can't get rid of, unfortunately. But the interior is rather stylish, I will say that, and I guess maybe it's the desperation of what you have in comparison to the modern day. It is a much nicer interior, I will say this. Stock brakes, stock system doesn't look like anything's changed outside the wheels. They got Pilot Sport 4s though. That's a shocker because Pilot Sport 4s are stupidly expensive. And this is not an SI, this is not the Type R model. This is a sport model. So having these type of wheels on this type of car is quite a shocker considering how expensive these are. I mean, these things are truly one of the best tires you can get on the market, but they're like, you're paying nearly $3,000 for a full set. Like, these are expensive. I still go with Advans or Indy 500 Firehawks. for price and daily road usage. But if you want to track it, this is what you use.
I mean, look at the front end.
So actually those are great for track and daily usage. But like for the money, I still go with Firehawks.
It looks like an old Cuda or one of those.
Well, it does have the American. I guess it does have the American muscle style at the front, though. The rear look more like a Manta, but this front definitely has the Cuda. He's right. It does look like a bit like a Cuda. A Barracuda Mark II. There's a difference between the original Barracuda and the Cuda that we know. I much prefer the first generation Barracuda with the split window. Because no, it's not split window. It was just the curved window because it was a GT car and it looks phenomenal. It's a nice long distance GT sports car. Truly a beautiful car. But second gen Cuda, I guess, like it was a monster, essentially. But this definitely does overlap that design into it. And you remember too is that what people don't realize about Japan, because I know like people think Japan this, Japan trend that. They have a massive love for American muscle for importing in their car scene. There is a import scene of American muscle cars that they have over there. Very expensive to get into though, because of course you're doing not just import taxes and fees and the insurance for their insurance for having left-hand drive vehicles, right-hand drive nation, much like we have vice versa over here. The thing is, what especially knocks them on the door is the sheer price from the displacement tax. Because if you're gonna get a 5.7 Hemi over there, or you can get a 5.0 Mustang, or God forbid any of the LSs or even the new LTZs, fuck, you're paying out the door for them.
Classic American muscles, even with the SS.
Under the bones, of course, it's still a Civic, still a turbo Civic sport model, so about 201 horsepower. Not the crazy to ride home about, considering the weight of the car, nearly about 3,000 pounds. But the modern Civics are, if you get the most stripped down trim. Still front wheel drive, which I have no qualms with. Once again, I've never had qualms with front wheel drive if it's on the right platform. This one very much. I don't think the modern Civics are typically the best front wheel drive, especially considering this is Honda we're talking here. Their legendary front wheel drive lineup of its past and of its vintage that we've had from the 90s and 80s. But this here is definitely a it's more of a show. It's more show, less go. But if you want it, there you are.
No, this thing
Lord Rexworth is the one who recommended this video, and Lord Rexworth seems to especially love the car. He also likes and this one actually this might be a hatchback model, but yeah, it is a hatchback based on the flat end here. Lord Rexworth loves these cars, or he wanted one. He was considering one. Myself personally, I have no interest in them. I guess it's hard for a company to appease me, even though my tastes are very simple. I would just prefer a 3-door hatchback. I would much like a 3-door hatchback. Not a Mini Cooper, because the new Mini Coopers are out the window expensive and expensive to maintain too, but also just expensive in general. And in terms of functionality, they're not really the best. I still say one of the best modern hatchbacks, not the best hatchback ever made, but the best modern hatchback was the Volvo C30. Now, granted, it was more expensive when it came out. And granted, I own one. I've owned 2 of them. Technically, a third one, considered a junker. A write-off car I used to part out. But the C30 is probably one of the best designed hatchbacks I've ever seen. It's got the functionality and size, but it's also compact enough to operate in traffic. It's got great interior spacing. Just overall a great car. But ideally, you want a hatchback that I would prefer a hatchback to be back in the days. 3-door, small, compact, fold on the seats, great. You got room, I can haul stuff in it. That's what I want.
Sick.
You look at on the outside there, they have a lot of other custom models outside. He's gonna get to them. But right now,
So here's some of the cars
main
that
feature is of course the M55 Mitsuoka.
outside.
We can see outside here, they've taken, and you can see the body and chassis of a lot of these other cars I've had out here. They have, of course, the C2 Stingray mock-up. I gotta see I think this might be actually based off of Miata, but it's very much for the boomers. I love it. I'm loving the Euro design here. These are nice. I like these. More European design.
This is a Rega They're like semi-import legal right now.
I do know about these because shooting cars actually got to review a 1999 model, and what these are, I could not tell you what I forget what they actually are underneath the skin, but it's a hybrid. But it is, of course, you can see it is to look like a classic Jaguar. I'm usually not good with more expensive cars, but classic touring Jags, the chauffeur Jags. These are quite sharp in appearance. Chibi, very pudged down everything, but it's functional, right? Not what you need. It's not exactly what you need, but if you want style, it has it.
It's a brand new car, and the price is 4.5 million yen.
$31,000 USD. Sticker price, of course, but that is pretty cheap, as well, all things considered.
Look at the paint. And I think this is a Vute. Yeah, this is a Vute story. Wow, it's more expensive. I would have never thought.
The interior.
It's definitely smaller.
It's the interior what's going to make it expensive.
This one
because remember, they do exterior and interior fabrication work. So that interior, that's leather. That is some high quality leather in there. So that price is going to be up to the roof.
5 million yen.
32,000 USD. Well, not really that expensive.
A cheaper Vute. This is a
nice.
3rd 12th Street or something like that.
Okay, now this is
used. Okay,
this is
2021.
nice.
That one's a new one. Okay, so this one's a couple years old.
I love the price.
Around 3 million yen.
Not something I would take,
Red
though.
interior though. That's really nice.
It is quite nice.
I don't want to open any of the doors. Let me not overstay my welcome. I'll ask them maybe before I leave, like, hey, is it okay if I open the door? I'm just happy that we even made it this far, honestly. Like, I drive past this all the time, and this is my POV. Like, I'm driving down this road, and you see this right away. Okay. And then just boom, boom, boom. And that's huge Mitsuoka up there.
This is based off... That is based off an old Trailblazer and Tahoe. This is that's a for an SUV, that is a sharp design, but
this
it's not
like
my
a
forte.
Chevy Blazer-esque.
Blazer. Here we go.
These are called a Buddy 20 two-wheel drive.
Ooh, that's
wow,
a heavy
2023. 15,000 kilometers, around 7 million yen.
45,000, yeah. Bit pricier.
Oh, it looks nice in this color.
You do you, man.
Yellow accents.
I like the yellow personally. Get to the sport.
This, I guess you could say, is a Corvette.
Yep. C2 Corvette, convertible.
It's so interesting that all these cars are...
And of course, has the BF Goodrich
They're
tires.
not replicas, but they're similar to Americans. The Vute is similar to that Jaguar.
As you can see, though, it's missing the pop-up headlights. There's some things that can't even squeak around with their design features because you have to. Well, the pop-up headlights, people love them to a unhealthy degree, and I personally, after working as a mechanic for so long, I sort of get why I won't like them. Yes, they're cute, little flip-up headlights. I know Kirsha spoke on this candidly, and it drove me insane when I heard it. No offense to her, I really like Kirsha, but her taste in cars is. Or in design, in car design is very much women. It's a woman coded, very very uninformed. Kirsha famously wants a 5th gen Prelude, Lude as I'm gonna say it, the Lude, the 5th gen Prelude. But Kirsha mistakenly believes that it has been done, if not came from factory, which Chad was able to convince her it wasn't from factory, but. She mistakenly believed that it was done, even though the only thing I've ever seen of it was a mock-up from Photoshop of a 5th gen Prelude with pop-up headlights from the 3rd gen, which I believe it's just a woman being cross-membered on things, like cross-memory. The amount of fabrication worked for that would be far too expensive, but also the problem, and I definitely see the problem on this one with the Prelude, to try and retrofit pop-up headlights on there is just what she doesn't remember is that they are electric motors that operate so you basically have to wire up the electric motors to the the car, you have to integrate the lighting system to adapt to basically the dimmer switch. You basically have to wire up the whole lighting system to work with that and have a switch and also have it road legal where you can have the light shine through like the actual pop-up headlights would, which the car did not come out with, so you have to cut and fabricate that. And basically it's a whole headache that has a lot of mechanical and wiring issues which are only unique to that one car. So the amount of money it would take to fix or repair a pop-up headlight would be just astronomically high. Ideally, you can mold a front fascia to look like a pop-up headlight, but not function like a pop-up headlight. But then again, that defeats the whole purpose of a pop-up headlight, which is for aerodynamics. Because when you have it down, it's supposed to be aerodynamic, and when you have it up, it's for better visibility. My personal take as time has gone on, yes, pop-up headlights look cute. I really like them when they drive by, but I've grown wary of them. I prefer a mechanical pop-up headlight though, if I could, but a lot of old cars have that. But to fabricate that system is a lot harder because you have to do the rod and the gear shaft essentially to twist and turn open the light basically on a switch, and there's a lot of problems with that. It's just involved with there. It's a headache I'd rather not get into.
But they pulling their own little flair on there. This paint though, my goodness. Shout out to that dude right there. He just walked up to me and said, any car that has a Mitsuoka plate, I can touch and open. Anyone that doesn't, I cannot. So you know what that means.
Nice guy.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a Miata.
Yeah, this is a great idea. Drop top.
Proper ragtop drop top. Not a mechanical.
This is a special edition Rockstar.
No, of course they call it Rockstar. You know how many boomers would be salivating to buy this.
Is there a price? Oh, there's a price. It is 7 million yen. Off the top of my head, that's around like $30,000. I feel like that's not that much money.
Is that what it is? That's pretty solid.
Okay, 2001, but it only has 9,000 kilometers.
2001.
Let me know. Would you pay $30,000 for this? I would.
2001 or 2020.
I don't know if Mitsuoka would do good in America though. I think people would make fun of it. Be like, oh yeah, look at your Japanese knockoff version of a Corvette, blah, blah, blah.
No. Okay, you gotta remember today, in the modern day and age, there is a Japan obsession in America, and this tingles because boomers are getting into that, unfortunately. But a lot of boomers are dying out, but the ones that have money are getting into it. It would actually be overpriced and overinflated and overhyped and overspeculated. Unfortunately, the U.S. it would definitely have that problem because there is a Japan tax, Japanophile, and people would be obsessed with buying these cars in mass. And also it tingles with the classic Americana look with the new age Japanese look. Also, any type of like sportier car, doesn't matter what type of range on the level of sports car it is, the price would be astronomical through the fucking roof. And that's unfortunate because we gotta really get rid of the dealership mindset. We gotta kill the middlemen, kill off dealerships because this is killing the automotive market outright. Plenty of compact cars that should have sold, like just entry-level compact cars, don't sell because dealers will fucking hide them, they won't advertise them, and more importantly, if you go looking for them, they'll jack the price up, try to forcibly hit you with all sorts of amenities, unless they won't sell it to you outright if you don't buy those amenities, which you shouldn't have to. I feel like I should order from a site, just like the classic, back in the, as the boomers would say, back in my day, where you go and fill out a sheet of what you want. That's what I would do. I feel like dealerships should only be for repair shops, should be a repair shop only, and tuning shop, right? Kind of like how Yenko and Shelby would do it, but basically, this one dealer, especially kind of the story of Yenko with the Camaros, like that's what I would do. That's what I would do. Basically, they add their own flair to it. But you can just but if you're just en masse buying it, we'll just fucking fill out orders and buy them.
Over here though. Look at this fitment. Wow, okay, so now that we can open some of the cars.
Yeah, I'd say the fitment's pretty nice on it.
Buddy. Open the back. I think this is what I'm more curious to see. I like this.
It's nice. do like the rear. I will say that has a nice, it does have a nice rear on it.
I guess there really isn't too much luxury. Would we consider Mitsuoka a luxury brand? I guess I kind of look at them as
a boutique brand. They are a boutique. They're not luxury. They do boutique. It's exterior mainly. Now, of course, I said before interior fabrication, of course, but it's mainly exterior.
Luxury-esque. I mean, it got a big screen. That's good. All this looks very...
I could care less with the screen.
Ford, you know, like normal plastic. It's not giving like Infiniti, Lexus, BMW, Benz, Audi.
I hate German cars. I'm sorry. I just fucking hate German cars in general. Everyone knows why, but actually having worked on them, they're a pain in the ass to work on. Older BMWs I do enjoy, up to the E30s, because they are literally a car underneath. It's great to work on those things. I love working on older Beamers. You get into new Beamers, fuck, I don't want to touch them. Too many headaches, too many wiring issues, too compact of a location. Just a mess.
It was a 2001 though, right? So I guess it's 5 years old. Oh, 2003, oh no. I kind of wish there was a little more there. Let me look at this one again. I mean, I'm not expecting luxury in a sports car. But yeah, this one you see has like the dials. You see like this probably opens and closes, yeah. Small screen, nice cup holders. DVD, wow, look at that.
That's something you don't see typically anymore.
Now,
again, it is an older model.
Car we've seen.
I know it. I like it. Very pop vinyl. I do like the interior.
Yeah, I feel like for a 2001, I mean, maybe this isn't their expertise. I still feel like the car itself, I mean, it says craftsmanship everywhere. I feel like all of this is done really nice. It's just here. Like this shot right here is giving very inexpensive vehicle. But you look at the outside, you look at the inside, it's giving, wow, this is like a $50,000, $60,000 car. Like, look at this.
Kind of, actually.
You're not going to see this pull up. And how much is it? 3 million yen? That's around 20,000. A little less, honestly. High teens. Like, to see these just look, I don't know. Like, I am also curious to know if this is still off a different car. Like, you know how they use the Nissan March? Is this a Nissan March, but Mitsuoka? Or like this is unacceptable. It should not only have automatic windows on the driver. That's unacceptable for 2021. Let me go over here. These things all better be automatic. Nah, I think it's just this one. It doesn't say. Yeah, it might just be driver again. Come on. So here's...
There's not really much I can say to it. I mean, I guess it's really, once again, he's saying it's the exterior, but it was that Civic at the foremost, that Civic was rather nice. I'm thinking I'm gonna cut the video here because he's just gonna go me on and on and on and on and on and on about these cars up front, which are not the forte. It's not the forte of the video. The forte of the video was the M55, which I wanted to see. But yeah, no, I'm very happy to see there's still this type of creativity, but once again, it's boutique. It's a very small scale. You're not gonna see it probably over here for a long while. It's unfortunate. Even if you ain't a band, you still